What's going on, guys? It's No Bullshit Podcast. It's Kyle.
Yo, it's Coughlin.
And listen, man, we coming back at you guys with another video. Coming out after game one and game two of the finals. Obviously, we got Celtics Mavericks. So I feel like without further ado, it's time to get right into it, man. We got game three tonight, right after we record this video. So we'll definitely, give our reactions to that. But First, game one and game two. What's your reactions, my guy?
First reactions is, where the fuck is everybody else? And it's valid, man. And I know. You could say that we could have won game two, for sure, right? But at the end of the day, somebody on this team needs to step up besides Luka. Like, I get it. He has his casual, few, head scratching turnovers, throwing the ball away, causing the turnovers and stuff like that, right? But if you look at overall output, he's been carrying our team, and I think he had back-to-back triple doubles or nearly 30-point triple doubles, right? And we still have not reached over 100 points in those two games, which is insane, right? You're talking about Kyrie, who he's has shown moments in pure brilliance these past few playoff series, right? But right now, where is he? That's a valid point to say. Like, where is he? Kyrie, where are you, man? Like, he has not shown up at all. Like, he's getting, this is where I still have to give credit to the Celtics, because they had the perfect game plan for him, and they have the perfect players to defend him with. When you got a Drew Holiday, and then you also have a Derek White, two of probably the best backcourt defenders in the whole league as a pair, right? And it's just, they also throw bodies at Kyrie when there's Jaylen Brown, or even the players off the bench, they're starting to get a rhythm, playing defense, showing capabilities just to slow him down and affecting his shots, right? And so I credit Celtics for that, but at the same time, this is insane. I think he's 0 of 8 or something like 0 of 8 or 0 of 12 or something like that from three. Like, he has not made a three-pointer yet, right? I'm pretty sure Kai might have to back me up on this, right? Fact check it, but I think the highest amount of points was 15, 14, something like that he scored between these last two games, and it's like the highest amount of points he scored, like between games 1 and game 2, I think it's like 14, 15 or something like that, right? But he's
he had 16
16
in game 2.
16,
but only 12 in game 1. So.
Yeah, but it goes to show you that, like, when you have PJ Washington outplaying you, and I'm not saying PJ Washington is a bad player at all, right? But if he's our second leading guy, that says something about what's going on with our team, right?
Yep.
And so it's just a matter of fact of the role players needing to step up. Like, I credit PJ Washington, especially game 2, about trying to get buckets, tough buckets, getting to the free throw line, right? But he's not knocking out his usual threes. Derek Jones, he's not knocking out his usual threes, right? And then it leads with everybody else, with a Josh Green, a Jaden Hardy, right? And look, a Maxi Kleber, who's been coming off an injury, right? But he's looking like he doesn't know how to shoot anymore. He's scared. He's scared of the moment, right? You have and this is what happens when you have a lot of guys who hasn't been to a different type of pressure environment, right? Yeah. This is the finals. This is like the ultimate goal of the whole season, is to get here and perform and win the chip, right? And sometimes the lights might be a little bit too bright, but at the same time, these are games where you have to grow from. It comes back at you pretty quick, right? Looking at Lively, he's trying out there, but I need more. I just need more, right? And then, but you look from the Celtics. Hey man, I just gotta say, kudos to Kristaps Porzingis because he put on a freaking clinic, man. And it just goes to show that like we don't have and I've known this before the series started that we do not match up well with the Celtics at all.
Nope.
Like especially with Porzingis, right? You know, you're talking about everybody on that team that can shoot, everybody can on that team that can defend, right? And they can switch off, right? And it doesn't matter. When you look at the Mavericks, we don't have a guy that can guard a KP. We don't have a guy that can always switch off defenders like that, like the Celtics can, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a backcourt that, you know, that is like all NBA, you know, defenders,
Yep.
right? And two other wings that are, you can argue are it's at least Jaylen Brown as another all NBA defender, right? And so it's just very frustrating to see that, you know, we get up to this point and we see the Luka doing his Luka things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else is not showing up. But it all starts with Kyrie, if anything. Like Kyrie needs to have a breakout game in this final series right now, because I'll tell you this much: if he doesn't crack at least 20 or 22, 20, like somewhere around there, we're getting swept. I have a huge fear that we're going to get swept, right? And in my head, and we kind of talked about this after the pod from like the previous one, right? And we said that, or at least I said, if there was one team that's going to get swept, it would be the Mavs, because the Celtics, like I said, they have the capability to get things done, and and a lot of people are saying, oh, they got to the finals, it's like a cupcake, you know, walkthrough. But here's the thing: they've been the most dominant team. It should be a cupcake walkthrough through the East, right? There's a reason why they almost won 70 games, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won 60 something games, and it proves best team from you know first game of the season all the way to now, right? And it shows, right? And that's where I have to give credit to the Celtics, because as much as I want to complain about the Mavericks and everything, the Celtics are just the better team right now, right?
Yep.
But what I need to see from this next game and the next, you know, the games after that, is that sometimes the best team doesn't always win the series, right? And this is when players just gotta pull through and just like, you know, knock down their shots and you know, finish their assignments, because right now, but by the things we're looking, it's looking really bad right now, because it's like, I don't know, it's just mind boggling at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it all starts with Kyrie and, you know, everybody else.
Yeah. Before I really get into, you know, my take, I'll read out some of the stats. So game one, Boston won 107-89. In that game, Luka Doncic had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers. Kyrie Irving, you know, when you talk about like stepping up, right? Like if I read off these stats to you, you'd be like, oh my god, like Kyrie 28 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, right? You read that and you're like, oh my god, like Kyrie went off. But that's his stats in the last 2 games combined, right? You're
Yep.
talking about 0 for 8 from 3, 13 for 37 from the field. That's 35%. I believe before the series, Kyrie Irving said something along the lines of that the crowd is nothing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't affect him or whatever. But I don't know what it is. But and this is a guy that we've seen take, you know, some of the biggest shots in NBA history, right? But for whatever reason, it seems as though that he's folding under the pressure of these first 2 games. I don't know. And again, that's not to completely take away the credit from Boston in terms of what they've been doing defensively. But Kyrie Irving is one of those guys that we know he can make a shot from anywhere, right? There is no
Yes.
such thing as a bad shot for Kyrie Irving. He can make every single shot on anywhere on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So for when your guy is getting, again, first game 30 points, 10 rebounds, second game 32 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists from Luka. you got to be able to help him. You have to be able to help him because your
Mhm.
number one guy for all intents and purposes, at least on the offensive end. We'll talk about the defensive end in a little bit. He's doing his job, right?
Yes.
He's doing his job. So whether it is Kyrie or not, like obviously you're paying Kyrie to be the second guy, but you're in the finals now. Anybody can step up. Somebody has to step up because right now the Dallas Mavericks are shooting 13 for 53 from the 3-point line in the series. That's 24%. You're not going to
Horrendous.
beat any team in the finals, let
Mhm.
alone a 60 plus win team in the finals shooting so poorly. Um, way too many blowbys. Like I'll get a little bit on the defensive end right now. Way too many blowbys. Way too many blowbys. And I get it. Like Luka is not, a great defender. Kyrie is not a great defender, especially at the point of attack. But as the head coach, I have to make an adjustment. Something has to give, especially in this game 3, because if Boston Celtics are able to get up 3-0, there's no coming back from that. You might be able to steal a game to get away from the sweep, but that's pretty much the end of the series. They're way too good for them to give up a series up 3 games. You feel what I'm saying? But again, it starts at the point of attack. It was way too many blow-bys given to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and that just gets them right into their offense of the drive and kick, where they have
Mhm.
wide open shooters. And that's the even crazier part about it is, at least in this past game, the Celtics were shooting just as poorly as the Mavericks were from three, but it was just the amount of open threes they had. They wound up hitting enough, right? Um, Another thing before I move on to the Celtics, as amazingly as Luka has been playing, because again he is the only person doing anything offensively. We have to tone down on the turnovers. We have to turn down on the turnovers, right? Game 1, 4 turnovers. Game 2, 8 turnovers. You can't turn the ball over that much again, especially to a team like this, right? Because just like you said, game 2, you guys could have won. You easily could have won, right?
Yep.
Like Luka had 8 turnovers. The, the,
And
the free
and
throw,
miss free throws.
the free throw in game 2, right? Boston shot 19 for 20 from the free throw line, right? 95%. Dallas shot 16 for 24. That's 66%. That's 8 points just left on the board, right?
Yep.
That's 8 points along with the turnovers that gave Boston extra shots at the basket. If you cut if you cut both of those in half, we probably look at this game 1-1, right?
Yep.
Even with all the struggles that Dallas has been having. So it's definitely been a close series, especially game 2. Game 2 was a very close game, but it's one of the, that's the thing when you're playing a team like Boston. If you keep it close, you have to be perfect against a team like this, especially when
Yes.
game 1, Kristaps Porzingis came out firing. He finished the game
God.
with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. He had 18 points at halftime. Like it felt like every single shot that left his fingers was cash. Game 2 had a little bit more of a quiet game. 12 points, shot 4 for 7 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Right. A lot of that was because he wound up getting injured, which it just got announced before the game. He's out for game 3, so
Yep.
that should be a big boost for Dallas, especially on the offensive end, where you don't have to worry about a Kristaps Porzingis lingering on in the paint. You on the defensive end, right? You don't have to worry about offensively how to stop him, right? Like because it felt like anybody that was on him was a mismatch. So you don't that's one of the things. And for game 1, in my opinion, Kristaps Porzingis was the MVP of that game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And when we talk about, and that's crazy when we talk about the Jays, like Tatum, first game, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Game 2, 18 points. He shot 6 for 22, 1 for 7 from 3, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. There's been a lot of discussion about Jason Tatum, right? In terms of he's getting carried to a ring and this and that. But what people have to understand when it comes to basketball is, number one, stop stat watching. Actually watch the games, because if you
Mhm.
watch the games, you would see the level of impact he had on the game, even without his shots falling. It was still substantial, right? There's a reason why all these guys are getting wide open threes because Dallas has to respect Jason Tatum's drive. You have
Yes,
to, right?
and just real quick, just before you get on to your next point, people keep on saying, and it's just like the media and people in the Instagram comments or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Keep on saying, "Oh, Jaylen Brown's a better player. He's the number one option." Stop. You look at a game. Jaylen Brown is to get double teamed. Who's getting double teamed? Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that shows you right there how much more respect the Dallas Mavericks has on who's the best player,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes, Jaylen Brown is having a good having his his way with things, but it's all because Jason Tatum is the point of focus on their offense, and
Yep.
that's why you come into this game, you got to find a way to stop Jason Tatum before you stop anybody else. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the problem, right? Is that if you're not able, if you're stopping him from not shooting the ball, he's going to kick it out, and
Yep.
you see everybody can shoot, even the people on the bench, right? They can heat up, and before I go on a tangent, it's shown in the what's it called, the first game,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the first half, second quarter, it was like 3 minutes left to go, right? It was like a 2 3 point game. Now it's like almost a 30 point game,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they lit it up from three,
Yep.
right? And that's very dangerous from the Celtics team, right? And then just real quick, going back to the Kyrie point, not the Kyrie point, the point about the free throws.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, or you probably do, right? Or even you guys out there. The Mavericks have the lowest free throw percentage of any playoff team this whole playoffs, and
Mm-hmm.
that's insane. And people, undermine that because they've won their series,
Yeah.
right? But here's the thing, though: when you have a team that's able to capitalize on those chances, like the
Mm-hmm.
Celtics, you will pay. You
Yeah.
will pay, right? And more times than not, at the end of the game, we look at the stat line. They have more points, or I think it's called, like, points off turnovers than anybody else, and it's by
Mm-hmm.
a far margin.
Yep. Yeah, they're a dangerous team when you give them extra possessions, right? And to the point about the free throws, like when you're looking at the Maverick starting five, the only good free throw shooter is Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Everybody else is either about average or below, right? So kind of just that's just really the nature of the construction of this team. But the reason why they've been able to really overcome that, because listen, every team has a hole, right? There's no team that is 100% no weakness, right? Even the Boston Celtics, one of their weaknesses is that because of the amount of threes that they take, they are prone to an off night, right? They're not a team that primarily scores in the paint, which is a more efficient shot. Even though obviously three is more than two, so there's gonna be times in a series where they're gonna put up 33s and only hit six, right? But those are the games that you have to take advantage of, right? Those are the moments you have to take advantage of because when you shoot that many threes and don't hit that many threes, in my head they're kind of the same as a turnover, right?
Yep.
They don't have points, and now it gives us a motion and transition, right? So just to finish off the stats, then obviously Jaylen Brown, game one, uh, 22 points, 6 rebounds, three steals, 3 blocks. He was a menace in game one on defense. That's 6 total stocks.
Yep.
Um, game two, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. He also shot 1 for 5 from the 3 point line. Like I said, in game two, both teams are struggling from three. And then, in my opinion, the game two MVP was Drew Holiday. Man, you talk about 26 points, shot 11 for 14 from the field, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 stocks, both a steal and a block. Like this I know there's Milwaukee Bucks fans at home watching this game that's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not only do we wish that we had that, but then we wound up giving him to one of our biggest rivals in the East. And as you can see, that move, I mean, I get it, right? You make the move for Damian Lillard, but not to the Celtics, not
Yeah.
to the Celtics.
No.
So yeah, in my opinion, he easily comes away with the Finals MVP for Game 2. So right now, right, if I had to bet, the betting odds in terms of the Finals MVP would have been, the likes of a Luka Doncic, a Kyrie Irving, a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown. But for Game 1, it was Kristaps Porzingis. Game 2, it was Drew Holiday. So just in terms of the whole narrative around the Finals MVP, the whole legacy aspect of it, that's very interesting. It's very, very interesting to see the rest of the series who asserts themselves as the best player in the series. But yeah, I mean, only time will tell.
Yeah, and we said this all playoffs, right? And honestly, we said it during the football season, right? For that playoff run, right? It's all about legacy. It's a legacy defining moments, legacy defining, games, right? Because by the end of all of this, right, a lot of players like futures and projections later down the line, once they retire, they might look back on this and it's like, yo, this could cement their legacy, especially a guy like a Jason Tatum, where yes, I get it, right? He hasn't shown like the craziest stats, but he got one. He finally got over the hump. That's the
Yeah,
main thing, right? Because here's the thing: if you got a ring and you contributed, like there's just no other way about it, right?
yeah,
And please, guys, like Kai said, stop looking at just the stats. Stats don't always tell the story. It does for the most part, but there's some things you just gotta watch the game, like
100%.
piece by piece, right? And and this is another thing. You can't blame them for having good players on the team.
Yeah,
Like come on, like guys, this is the point of having a GM,
yeah,
right? It's the point of a GM is surrounding my star players with other great players,
mm-hmm.
right? And they've done that. You can't blame them for making trades and other teams GMs accepts it. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you can't blame them for that, right? And so it's like at the end of the day, right? He's doing what he needs to do, and I've been said this, and even Kai said this. Jason Tatum, of all the superstars around the league right now, he has the most to sacrifice,
Yep,
right? And at the end of the day, he's like, the most important thing is winning.
yep,
So I'm gonna do anything it takes to win. If
mm-hmm.
it means me distributing the ball more, so be it.
So
If it
be it.
means me rebounding the ball more, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's the thing. And that's the beauty of looking at a Celtics team, because you look at it from like, non-biased perspective, right? That team is perfectly gelled,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, it just seems that like, you know, they're a team for not only this year, but for many, many, many years to come, man. Because they're all relatively young,
Yeah,
right? And only time will tell how this team will go. But looking from the Mavericks point of view, the last thing I'll say is that every game got to be treated like a game 7.
mm-hmm.
It has to, right? Luka will do Luka things. I'm not gonna really worry too much about him, right? Maybe just defensive things, and then like turnovers, of course,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it all starts with everybody else. The role players need to step up.
Yep,
Kyrie needs to step up, and
mm-hmm.
that's no other simple things about it. And I know there's like memes about it, about like saying that we were saying Kyrie and Luka had like almost the quote unquote one of the greatest backcourts or whatever, right? And now people are saying he doesn't have help, and it's like I get it. But here's the thing: you gotta take things with a grain of salt,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because yes, is this the best team Luka has ever had? Yes, that's true. But is this a perfectly gelled roster? No, it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect, right? You just gotta make just gotta make things work the way you're presented yourself, right? But I'm holding out faith for the Mavs. I did say Mavs in 7, so I'm gonna still hold out for that,
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully we win Game 3, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean, what the age-old expression is, a series doesn't start until a team wins on the road, right? So
yep,
if the if the Mavericks handle what needs to be done right at home, they handle their
Mhm.
business, get back, even up the series, they're well alive in this series, right? Um, but back to the point on Jason Tatum for my final thoughts. It's interesting, right? Because we live in the era of ring culture, right?
Yes.
Nothing that you do in the regular season matters if you don't
Mhm.
have a ring, right? It's always, oh, he doesn't have a ring, they don't have a ring, this team just doesn't make it past the second round, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But when you have a player like a Jason Tatum, right, that has said multiple times, nothing more matters to him than winning. If
Yes.
if his stats have to take a hit, so be it. As
Mhm.
long as the team wins, right? And you would think that a player with that level of mindset would not be as hated as he is, right? But for whatever reason, NBA fans nowadays, they want to have their cake and eat it too, right? They want a player to drop 50 points, right? They want them to average 50 points in the finals, but you have to realize, like, this is a team game. Can Jason Tatum go out there and average 30 points this series?
Yeah, sure.
If he had it in his mind, he 100% could. He has the ability to, but he also understands that this is going to hurt my team. I may look good, right? I may oh my god, Jason Tatum averaged 30 in the finals, but we lost.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And from Jason Tatum's perspective, and that's his perspective, I agree with. I'd rather average I believe he's averaging 17 points, 10 rebounds, 8.5 assists. I'd rather average that with a championship than 30 and no championship. It reminds me,
Exactly.
this Celtics team reminds me a lot of, the early 2010s Spurs, man.
Mhm.
Right? We talk about Tim Duncan and those
Yes.
boys where it's just beautiful basketball. It's selfless basketball.
Mhm.
The ball decides what shot is taken, not the number on the back. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Pass, and they'll pass up a good shot for a great shot. And that's one of the things that if you would just consider yourself a basketball fan, you can't do anything but admire that because it's not a lot of teams that are playing like that or have the ability to play like that. So again, series is not over, right? Series is definitely not over. Dallas has two opportunities right in front of them to win, take care of business at home, and get back Game 5 with the series tied up. Right, but
Mhm.
it all begins tonight. Game
Y-
3 is essentially a Game 7, right? Like you just
Yeah.
said. So
Uh-huh.
we'll see. May the best team win.
Yeah, and if you guys, are on social media and stuff like that, there's a little video of a corgi that like predicted like the games and how it would go, who would win. Hasn't been wrong yet. So I'm just saying. Hope that corgi might be known in script. So
Mm-hmm.
just
We'll
saying,
see.
man. Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, man. I mean, with that being said, these have been our thoughts to Game 1, Game 2. Game 3 is tonight. We're recording this on Wednesday.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have this video out. If not today, then tomorrow. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll have a following video out for Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of scheduling issues or whatever. We're trying to work with it. So please help you guys work with us. Um, like I always say, you guys have steadily been going crazy on our social media. Not only on our social media but on our YouTube videos as well.
Yeah.
Last couple of videos have been doing really well, so let's see
Mm-hmm.
if we can keep that up, guys. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been No Bullshit Podcast, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Peace out.